There's no escape. I'll see you in pieces.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyanI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 249 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods. And starting us off, we have a huge retexture mod called the Borderlands Retexture Overhaul, which actually makes Skyrim completely look like Borderlands by giving everything its unique art style. This must have taken so long to do and to go into all of the different texture files and completely edit them to look a lot more cartoony and also have that Borderlands feel to it. I feel like this mod took forever to make, and it's an extremely awesome take on Skyrim if you want to completely change up all of your graphical mods. And I will say that this is also compatible with a bunch of different gameplay mods, but I wouldn't recommend using other graphic mods alongside this because a lot of the textures will clash and it won't really feel as right because you'll see a bunch of Borderland textures alongside regular, remastered Skyrim textures, and I feel as though they wouldn't really mix very well. And obviously it would be impossible for me to showcase every single texture that is featured alongside this mod, but I will say that it covers all of the armors, the weapons, the architecture, the clutter, the clothing, all of the creatures in Skyrim and characters, as well as the dungeons, the Dawnguard stuff, the Dragonborn, Hearthfire, landscaping, and even plants too, giving you an entire new way of experiencing Skyrim with a brand new art style, and I really like it. And if you do really like this, they also have a mod that's separate that actually covers Solstheim and all the DLCs as well. So if you try this out and you maybe want to just completely remaster your Skyrim in a whole different way with all of the Borderland textures, then you can also download the other Solstheim patch as well. So if you like Borderlands and you also like Skyrim and you maybe want to see the art style from Borderlands into Skyrim, then check this mod out. I think it's a really cool idea. I think it was implemented perfectly, and it's definitely worth a shot if you really enjoy the Borderlands series, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 5 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading and experiencing this new Skyrim for yourself. Coming in at the number 4 spot this week, we have a small little addition to the outside of Whiterun, and this is the Whiterun Farm District mod. And the mod page reads that this mod is a small expansion for the entrance to the city of Whiterun, and the Whiterun Farm District covers the stables to the Pelagia farm with walls from west to east. They added 2 farmhouses, a blacksmith's forge, an alchemist and spell store, 2 merchant stalls, a guardhouse, and walls surrounding the district with several guards to man the walls as well. And it should also be compatible with most other mods that alter the stables area up to the existing Whiterun gate, which is also a perfect thing to do because they also have a Capital Whiterun expansion mod, which alters the entire, entrance to Whiterun with new walls and structures and makes it look beautiful as well. So if you already have the Fortified Whiterun mod and you want to add this mod on top of it, it actually connects the walls perfectly and makes it seem like it's one mod that does all of that. And I think that's absolutely amazing that 2 mods can work hand in hand to each other and actually fit together so well. And I really like the addition that they added to Whiterun here because whenever you think about it, there's a lot of people that live in Whiterun, and the food that is on the outside of Whiterun with all of the farms, and if you walk around and actually look at all the plants that are growing, it doesn't really make much sense that it would be able to feed everyone inside of Whiterun. But this mod actually changed it, so there's a bunch of stores and stalls that maybe more food would be coming in, and it just makes it more, realistic and makes it feel like there's a lot more things coming into Whiterun than, what would meet the eye in the vanilla game. So it feels a lot more realistic that Whiterun would be able to sustain something like this, and, just the additions to the outside. They also have catapults for whenever the war starts. I think that was a really cool addition, and this mod is able to do all of this and bring all of this content into the outside of Whiterun, coming in at just under a megabyte, coming in at 895.29 kilobytes. Many of you know that Whiterun is my favorite city in Skyrim, and I really love to always upgrade it and always see people's new takes and what mods they create for Whiterun, because it's just a beautiful city and there's so much to do in it, and it's always the starter city for me, and I spend so much time there, so why wouldn't you want to add a bunch of new mods to make it even better? And that's definitely why the Whiterun Farming District is featured here at our number 4 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and adding it to your load order as well. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have a mod that retextures all of the gems that you can find throughout Skyrim, and this is the Gems as They Should Be mod. And the mod page reads that this replaces Skyrim's polished gems with more raw and realistic ones to increase immersion, especially with the game's environment. Because don't you find it strange that every time you go mining around, you can pluck gems that are already polished out of thin air? The mod creator always asks themselves that same sensational philosophic question from the beyond after years playing Skyrim. In reality, when you mine or dig around rocks or ores, you find those gems in a very raw state. None of them will give you a beautiful faceted gem out of nothing, because this is a man-made process. But that doesn't just end here. Even with the polished models work for Skyrim, they're very disconnected with its environment. And if we take deep consideration of the game's medievalist era and the cutting techniques used in the 15th century, the gems are so polished that they look like they were cut by a 21st century machine. So when it comes to these new gems that have been added into the game, all of these were worked with parallax effects, cube maps, refractions, and such to mimic real-life raw gems. Unlike vanilla, those raw gems will not glow in the dark to respect the environment's lighting, and their meshes are light in terms of polygon count, so they won't greatly impact your game's performance, unless you of course have a room filled to the ceiling with them. They also consider this mod finished, but they also will consider futurely updating it for better visuals, because they believe that some of these gems, such as the diamond, could have been done better, which is something you always like to see, someone always coming back even after the mod's finished to give it some nice quality of life fixes, and it really shows that they really care about this mod and put a lot of work into it, and that's always something great to see in the modding community. And as you can see as I'm showcasing these gems, they look really well made. And of course they don't look like the perfect versions like they did in the vanilla game, because they want it to feel more real, especially with it being a medieval era game. And they took so much consideration whenever it came to the design and how these were actually made and, what was actually possible in the medieval era. And I think that's a really cool take whenever it comes to making Skyrim as realistic as possible. So if you're working on a graphical load order that focuses on all the landscaping, textures, and more, and you want to also cover the items and gems, then this would definitely be a mod I'd recommend downloading, because it brings a lot more realism into the gems in Skyrim, and I really like how these are designed. And that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 3 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have a brand new beautiful player home located in front of the Heartwood Mill in Riften Hold, and this is the East Manor player house. The mod page reads that this mod has recently been repacked and is now 1.1 megabytes instead of 75 megabytes, making this extremely more viable to fit into any load order that you can imagine, and this is a brand new house for the player with a bunch of functionalities. It features all the crafting stations, whether it be enchanting, alchemy, blacksmithing, cooking, and a staff enchanter, and inside the house you'll find tons of bookshelves and chests for the player, armor and weapon stands and cases, and 3 beds for your followers. You also get a barkeeper as well as a bard that you can have sell you items as well as serve you drinks, and even have the bard sing for you at any time. Outside you have an apiary, a smelter, planters, and a fish hatchery, and you also get a guard as well. Now you guys know me whenever it comes to small player homes. I absolutely love them, and especially the way that this one is set up, where there's no wasted space at all. There's so much detail as well. There's a bunch of items on shelves as well as empty shelves that you can put your own items into, and as well with it having a barkeeper that sells you a bunch of items and even a bard. I really like that idea. You don't really see too many player homes do that. My only complaint about the mod is that you get the house right off the bat. You don't actually have to work for it. It's pretty much just yours as soon as you start the game, so it may be broken in some cases because because it does give you a big head start whenever it comes to jumping into Skyrim, but I think it would be way better if they made you purchase the house. I would say around 10,000 gold would be, a fair stance to get this entire player home, because you also have to take into account with everything that it comes with, such as all the crafting stations and such, so you'd have to take all of those things into account as well. So I think around 10 to 15,000 would probably be a very fair range to buy this house because it's absolutely beautiful, and I don't see myself going anywhere else once I purchase this house. But other than the fact that you get it for free right off the start of Skyrim, I have no complaints, and I think this is an extremely well-made house, and it's clear that they put so much time and effort into making this house, and I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for a brand new place to call home in Skyrim, then I'd strongly recommend downloading the East Manor Player House and becoming its proud new owner for yourself. Coming in at the number 1 spot this week, now I'm super excited to cover this mod because it completely retextures everything that Skyrim has to offer, and this is the SNRP full version. Now this is actually 2 separate mods, there's a part 1 and a part 2, but this is just like Skyland all in one, where it covers pretty much everything that Skyrim has, all the landscapes and everything, all into 2 simple mods here. This is just a full retexture mod that covers all of the farmhouses, High Hrothgar, Riften, Markarth, Solitude, Whiterun, the Skyhaven Temple, Sovngarde, Winterhold, and Windhelm, as well as landscapes, the DLCs, the Soul Cairn, Castle Volokar, the Snow Elf Ruins, Raven Rock, as well as the dungeons, the mines, the caves, the Imperial Forts, the Nordic Ruins, the Dwemer Ruins, and even the Riften Radaways. And on top of that, you have all new landscapes, including DLCs as well, dirt cliffs, mountains, and roads, as well as snow. And it even covers furniture, such as the common and upper class furniture, and even the stockades that you find outside. And this isn't even the end of it. I don't know how they could possibly update this anymore with even more textures, but it plans on being updated in the future too, which I'm extremely excited for. But I really like how this mod is completely set up. You only have to download these 2 mods and it completely covers every single texture that's in Skyrim. You can also download some other mods alongside it, such as, SMIM mods or other weather mods, but this is really all you need if you're looking for a brand new graphical load order and you're looking to do it all in 2 simple mods here. Now as you can see, these new areas look amazing, and there's a huge difference that you can immediately tell the second you load into the area, and I extremely like that. I think that this is a very high possibility for in our next load order, this might be the graphical mod that we go for, because we've been using Skyland for so long that I pretty much just see that as the default Skyrim, and I'm not saying Skyland is bad, I think it's one of the best retextures ever, but I really like this as a change. It changes everything, and I noticed everything as well. It's not something that's like, oh, that's just higher quality texture. You can see a physical difference with almost everything that you look at, and I absolutely love that. And even if you've been using Skyland and you really like that mod, I would recommend that you at least give this a try and just see their take on Skyrim and see which one you like better. All in all, I'm extremely proud for how far the modding community has come whenever it comes to bringing these brand new next generation mods to console, a 10-year-old game that's still getting constantly updated and bringing brand new ways of looking at Skyrim and, brand new mods that completely change everything and just make everything look beautiful. I think we've come such a long way here. So if you are looking for a new graphics mod that completely changes Skyrim's look, all in 2 simple mods that are easy to install, then I would strongly recommend downloading the SNRP mod and experiencing a brand new Skyrim for yourself. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.